Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is pressure conversions. So when I am looking at the tab that says pressure and temperature conversions, I'm on the right hand side here. Now we just talked about that this is our temperature conversions. So I'm not going to need that on this side because we're talking about pressure. So all of these up here are my pressure conversions. And the one thing I want to make sure that you all know is that the number in front of the unit is what goes together. So 1 ATM, 760 mmHg is millimeters of mercury, 760 torr, 101.3 kilopascals or kPa, 14.7 pounds per square inch, or 29.92 inches of mercury. Now these last two we don't use as much because they're not metric system, but they are still on there in case we need them. Like I said, this is what you will get on your quiz, your test, and then this is what you'll use on your practice and homework too. So just to help me out here, I'm going to highlight 1 ATM, (760 millimeters of mercury), 760 torr, 101.3 kPa, 14.7 pounds per square inch, and 29.92 millimeters of mercury. So now I have those conversion factors highlighted and ready to use. You can also put boxes around them, and you don't have to, but that kind of helps you visually see what number goes with which unit. So now we're going to talk about dimensional analysis. So dimensional analysis is a way for us to do math and focus on our units at the same time. So when we talked about Sig Fig math, we looked at our units and our math. And this is a way that we are going to use for conversions. And then later in the semester when we get to stoichiometry, we'll use this same method. So here's what this is. I call this usually just a T-table or T-chart that I'm writing. Whatever's in this top left box here is my given. That's what my problem tells me. Now this has a unit right here that I want to get rid of. So I'm going to put that down here to get rid of. And then whatever's up here is what I'm going to. So this will be my new unit. So these units should be the same. This will be my new unit. Now when I have a vertical line, that's telling me to multiply. When I have a horizontal line, that's telling me to divide. So multiply across, divide down. Let's go ahead and look at some problems and see how this works. So the first one here, I'm converting from atmospheres to millimeters of mercury. So I'm going to go ahead and write my chart. 2.4 ATM. Since ATM is up here, I need to put ATM down here. And I'm going to millimeters of mercury, so I need to put millimeters of mercury on the top. So now I have my units, and I'm going to use my units to guide me to see which numbers I need to use. So I need to say what is in front of ATM in my conversion line. Okay, so 1 ATM, 1 ATM. Millimeters of mercury at 760, so 760. I'm going to multiply across, divide down. Let's see what we get. Now for our conversion factors, we're not including those in our sig figs, so I need to just look at this first number. So I have 1, 2 sig figs, so I need 2 in my answer. 1, 2. What does that 2 do to that 8? Nothing. So we have 1,800 millimeters of mercury. Okay, let's look at going from millimeters of mercury to torr. Do my T-chart. I'm going to write what's given to me, so 983 millimeters of mercury. Since I have millimeters of mercury up here, I need to put millimeters of mercury down here. And I'm going to torr. So torr is going to go in my top right box. Now I have my units, so let's look at our conversion factors. So millimeters of mercury, so I need to put 760. torr, 760, multiply across, divide down, and it gives me 963. These units cancel, just like up here our atmospheres canceled. So I know that I'm left with torr, but it's the same number. That's okay, because if you look at our conversion factor, these are the same number. So millimeters of mercury and torr will actually give you the same number. Now let's look at kPa over here. I have 284.7 kPa. Since I have kPa here, I got to put kPa down here. And I'm trying to get to atmospheres. So when I look up here my conversion factors, I need to look for kPa. So kPa, so 101.3. Then I need to look at my ATM. So I have 1. Multiply across, divide down. And let's see what we got. We get 2.810463. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. So I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. What does that 4 do to that 0? Nothing. So 2.810. That 0 is significant, so make sure that that makes it into your answer. Last example on this page, we're going to go from torr to kPa. Let me go ahead and do my table here. So 580 torr. Since I have torr up here, I need to put torr down here. And I'm trying to get to kPa, so I'm going to put kPa up here. Looking at my pressure conversions, torr has 760. kPa is 101.3. Now notice when I was going from kPa, 101.3 was on the bottom. But now I'm going to kPa, so that 101.3 is on the top. I'm going to multiply across and divide down. The wrong number in. Okay. So I'm left with 77.3078. Now, looking at this, there's no decimal. So when we're talking sig figs, I'm going to start on the Atlantic because that decimal's absent. First non-zero number, so 1, 2. So I have 2 sig figs here. So I can have 1, 2. What does that 3 do to that 7? Leaves it alone, so I have 77 kPa.